This time on Ultima Final Fantasy, Hoshi wo Meguru Otome, or otherwise known as the Maiden Who Travels the Planet. We're going to be reviewing that. Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
I'm your other host, Joe.
And today, as I announced before, we're going to be reviewing another of the Livestream.net's translated pieces of media for Final Fantasy VII. There are millions of these things, it seems. This one is titled The Girl Who Travels the Planet, and it kind of gives us the...
Travels the planet, though?
Yeah, I don't know. It gives us the story of Aerith after she gets sliced and diced and placed into the water.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah. So we get to see what she was up to, and it kind of leads into Advent Children a bit. This one's kind of weird because it's not...
This one's bizarre.
It's like not Advent Children. It's not in between 7 and Advent like the ones we've been doing.
It's during 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into it, though.
Yeah.
It's our second to last FF7 novel, and the other one has not been fully translated.
Yeah. So. They haven't done all the voice casting at the live stream. I mean...
No, they haven't done the written one, I don't think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we got a ways then.
Yeah.
That's too bad. It's too
disappointing. We might have to skip around a little bit. We might have to go to FF10's content, or if there's any in the in-between ones, which I don't think there are.
Yeah, I don't think so. And 7, and then, it's just 10, because that's when they went crazy the next time.
So if you're wondering why the show sounds different, we're just trying a new recording thing this week. Let us know how you guys feel about this sound quality. If you're okay with it, let us know. And if you're not okay with it, let us know as well. Just trying to experiment with some stuff here on our network and see if we can make the shows a little bit more video-friendly. We got a couple shotgun microphones. We're testing them out. We're going to see if we can use them over live streaming. If we can't use them here for the episodes, we'll find a use for them somewhere else, though. So
yeah. So it's not a big deal if it doesn't sound as good. Just let us know what you think.
Schweiss.
Yes.
Where can they find us?
You can find us at ultimafinalfantasy.com. That's where we have all of our great content. We've got forums. We've got a contact page. All of the good stuff there. You can tweet me at UFF Podcast.
You can tweet me at Joseph Vigolier.
You can follow us on Twitch where we stream the episodes live. And I have been playing Final Fantasy Tactics live as well. Not a second of Tactics has gone by without me being on the stream. So.
Nice. That's unusual. You usually have a few seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of the
nothing.
stream.
Yeah, nothing at all this time. So go hang out with us there. We also have youtube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. You can catch all of our backlogged episodes and a pretty decently sized chunk of backlog gaming from the streams. There are a lot of content there.
And badly organized.
Very badly organized.
You can explore YouTube. There are treasures
you gotta
to be found on our YouTube channel.
You gotta really dig for those. That's what makes it fun. It's
beautiful.
It's like those. It's like a treasure hunt. You get a sandbox. You got some little toys hidden in the sandbox.
Exactly.
You gotta dig them out. That's fun. Everyone loved that when they were kids, right? That's what you have to do now on our YouTube channel.
It's funny. I actually liked building things in the sandbox. I didn't.
Yeah?
Yeah. The toys weren't so much. We mostly... I say we, because I only ever played in the sandbox with another person. Never played by myself. We would make, cities. And then we would put water through it and destroy it. And, of course, make the sand go really hard after we've gone and it's dried out. And then it's fun breaking back into the sandbox. You got to get the rock hammer out and everything.
Yeah, there you go. We can also give us a phone call. Our number is 385-204-3921. Send us your questions.
385-204-3921.
Send us your intros. Send us whatever you want. So, Joe, I have played a decent amount of Final Fantasy Tactics this week, and I think I'm about 10 hours into the game, probably like 9-ish hours. And I'm at the end of Chapter 2. Now, there are 4 chapters in the game. Chapter 3 looks a teeny bit longer than Chapter 2, and Chapter 4 is huge, as far as I can tell. And it has the Caves of Narsh has a guide where it like breaks down each level. That's kind of what I like to look for when I'm looking at a guide to see, okay, how far am I in this game, right? A checkpoint kind of system.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a pretty good one, so that's where I gathered all this information from. So my playthrough has been going pretty well so far. I've gotten, like I said, about 10 hours of the game done. I've been having a lot of fun playing around with the jobs, learning new abilities for those job classes, and it's just all around good time, good fun for Final Fantasy Tactics. What about yourself?
Well, Schweiss, let me talk about my Final Fantasy Tactics experience. I remember I was going to go play it.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, PSP's in the little Kupocon bag. This is where I now put my PSP. I opened it up, got the PSP out, opened up the game, saw that Crisis Core was in there, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I started looking through my PSP games, and the first thing I did was take the Tactics case out. And there was nothing in the Tactics case. And so I had a weird moment where I was like, I think that it's in that giant bin of games somewhere at Schweiss's house. So I had left my Tactics behind here, Schweiss. It was in a Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII case, which you then said probably very correctly what had happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you bought it, I think what happened was you bought the PSP from Caleb Craig, good friend of the show, right? And he was playing Tactics, because that's all he ever does with his time, is play Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. And it was in the PSP when you played it. Now, the only thing, as far as I know, that you've played on your PlayStation Portable up to this point has been Crisis Core. So when I pull out the Crisis Core case, I'm like, I guarantee it's in here. Pop it open, War of the Lions, chilling in Crisis Core. So a good way to start out the week, and that sucks because
it's good. Yeah, I lost a whole week of playing.
Yeah, and that was like Wednesday or Thursday that you.
And I didn't play last week either.
Yeah,
didn't have time last week. This week I had time, didn't have a game, which was problematic.
I think that
to
might
say the least.
Be more important than having time to play the game. Is having the game itself.
It might be, because then you can throw in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a close fight, but I think having the game takes the cake.
Yeah. So guys, I haven't played a second of Tactics still. 2 weeks into this.
Nice.
I have not played a second of Tactics.
I was on the stream the other day. I can't remember who it was, but somebody was like, I think it might have been Chase. He was giving you shit. He was like, we could beat these games in 2 weeks. And like with quotes.
Well, fuck you! You don't have a fucking podcast.
And then it was
playing another game at the same time.
Forgets the game like day 1.
Day 7.
Yeah, day 7. There you go. So we got a little bit of catching up to do. I mean, I don't really, but I did botch something though, and I'm really fucking angry with myself for doing it. So I want to have a diverse team, right? I want to have a good amount of physical attackers, and there are some job abilities that I needed to unlock with the Squire class, and then once I got those, I moved on to the other respective classes, right? Sure. I made one of my Squires a time or a Black Mage, and I got a few Black Mage abilities until I unlocked Time Mage, which gives you haste, stop, slow, all of the good time magic abilities. And so I was trying to grind out Time Mage abilities, because you have to grind out ability points, basically, to learn new abilities within the job. And I was going to work on getting Meteor, which costs like 1,000 job points, which is ridiculous. That's like a shitload, right?
Sure.
I was doing it, and then I got into this fight where a bunch of my teammates were kind of getting downed, and then I was rezzing them all up, and it was fine. It wasn't a huge deal. And at the end of it, I collected a bunch of crystals, which you can gain abilities from and whatnot. You'll find out when you actually play it. It's kind of hard to relate because you haven't started yet. But I get to the next fight, and suddenly I have to choose this this guy, this new engineer guy that I got on my team who doesn't really have any good items, any good equipment. I don't like his job necessarily, so I had to play with him, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's the Time Mage? Turns out that the Time Mage died, and I forgot to get her up, so she turned to a crystal, and they're gone forever when this happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, your characters do not get back up. So you have to resurrect them or finish the fight before their turn timer turns to 0, or they will turn into a crystal, and they will be gone. And that's what happened. She turned into a crystal, I beat the fight, and then I saved my fucking game. So this Time Mage that I had put a good chunk of time into cracking into her abilities and unlocking certain things.
Put a good chunk of time into the Time Mage?
I did, yes. Yeah. And now the time is gone. She is dead, and I am fucked.
Time has stopped.
Time has stopped for her, yes. And it sucks because the guy, his name's Mustadio, and the game has, like, the biggest hard-on for this guy. Like, the game wants him dead, and I don't understand it. Like, he's not very tough, he's not very strong, and I don't want to lose him because he's tied to a shitload of side quests, so I'm not just going to let him expire into a crystal, right? So I'm busting my ass keeping this chump alive, but everybody just wants to fuck him over. Like, it's crazy. I've never seen it in this game so far where they're like, that guy has to be fucking dead. We have to kill him.
This guy fucked.
Yeah, this guy fucked, right? And so the game just has this massive boner for this one guy, and I was freaking out on the stream. I was getting so fucking mad because, like, they would kill him, and then, like, they would then turn on my chemist who I used to resurrect him, and I wasn't able to get him up in time, so then I had to, like, grab my character, whip his ass all the way out there, use the Phoenix down to grab one of them, and it was crazy. It was sick, dude. But I am having a lot of fun grinding out job points, grinding out the abilities. Got the JP boost is one you're going to want to get. It gives you more job points. It's a Squire ability. And then Auto Potion. Once you get that, then you can start grinding out their respective classes. But I've had fun so far, but I am getting to the point where I do need to go level grind because I am not anywhere near the level of the enemies I'm fighting. So it's kind of a pain.
Okay. All right. Well,
But keep in mind, though, the random enemies level up with your main character. So the random encounters level up with you. But the story bosses do not. So you can outgrind them, but if you're bad at the game, you're going to grind yourself into a corner where you can't beat the random enemies, and you're not going to be able to beat the game. So.
Oh, wow.
So,
this sounds like the best Final Fantasy already.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, though. The job system in it is a lot of fun. So.
God.
Be excited for it.
I haven't fucking touched the game. I'm mad. I should have a week in this shit right now.
Yeah, you should. I mean, like I said, I'm like 10 hours in. Almost halfway, according to the chapters. But
God damn it. I am happy about one thing, though.
What's that?
I bought Square Enix stock in my retirement fund.
Oh, man.
Which I'm sure is a sure bet, you know. You know, those electronic-based companies, game companies, of course, they're known for lasting for a very long time. And so I had to have that in my individual retirement account. And I bought 3 squares of Square Enix stock at $35 plus a trading fee of, I think, $6 or $7.
So wait, was that $7 each, or
no,
just one time?
No, for one trade.
Oh, okay.
So the trade is for 3 stocks. At that.
So you have to gain
at
least $7.
So yeah, I have to
wasted
gain
money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a lot harder to do that with 1 stock than it is 3 stocks.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the same percentage is tripled,
right,
basically, or the same amount of money. I have earned $1.05 on Square Enix stock since I bought it last week. Now, though, that I am a stockholder, Square Enix has to listen to me.
Yep.
And I say, no more mobile games. There we go. That's
all
right.
Yeah. What if they are...
It lowers the quality of the stock.
What if they make you money, though? What if they lower the quality of the stock, but they increase the value?
The amount of... Oh, thank you for the follow-up.
Yeah, that scared the shit out of me. Thank you.
The amount of money Square makes does not reflect how much the stock is worth necessarily.
That is true. Yeah.
So, I only learned this a couple months ago. I took one of the Great Courses course on the stock market. and I listened to all the lectures, and it was really interesting. I found out that the stock market is a used car lot, basically, and the stocks, besides their first, besides when people first buy the stock directly from the company, when they price the stock and put it out publicly, that's the only time that the company makes money off of stocks.
Yeah, the rest of it's peer-to-peer trading.
Since then, it's only peer-to-peer trading. The worth of the stock is only based upon what people think it's worth.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect Square at all, except that it's like bad news when their stock is down, because it usually reflects, oh, this company looks like it's losing money right now. I don't think the stock really is worth that much. I'll bid this much and see if I can buy stock for this much or sell it for, I'm not going to be able to sell it at this amount. I have to sell it a few cents lower.
Right.
It is a ridiculous concept.
It is, yeah. It's all perception-based.
It is so stupid.
It's crazy.
But, everybody's fucking retirement is
I gotta tell you one thing real here.
Everybody's retirement is caught up in that one speech in Wolf of Wall Street where it's like, it's a fugazi, it's a fake, it's fairy dust.
Yeah.
And then he starts going, that guy, that scene in Wolf of Wall Street. It's true. It's all just bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
But I have invested my hard-earned cash into bullshit. From Square Enix.
I gotta tell you what happened. So, this isn't really related to Final Fantasy at all, but I gotta get it out. I forgot to say this on New Clan. Robinhood app, right?
Right.
I bought 2 more shares of Ford. It's been decent. It hasn't been decent lately, but it was decent when I got them.
Well,
so it's fine. It'll go back up.
Once we get back into coal.
Yeah, exactly.
The Ford stock.
Exactly. So
that's how it works.
I bought it, and then suddenly on Monday, I got a notification from them that they had declined from my bank. And then they charged me $30. So Robinhood charged me $30 because I had no money in the account that they pulled it out of, right? And then my bank charged me another $20. And then I looked in and I found out what happened. There was a moment about a year ago when I called my bank because they had like a special thing like, oh, if you open up a checking account with us, we'll give you a 2.99% auto loan. And so I called them up and I was like, hey, I've got like a year and a half on my lease. Do you think maybe I can get that when the time comes? They're like, oh yeah, probably. Did you want to open it today? And I was like, no, I'll call you guys back when I'm ready to jump into that. And then I fucking look at my bank account online, right? And they had opened the checking account. They just opened it. And I was like, what the hell, man? Like, did we not learn anything from the Wells Fargo fiasco that don't fucking open an account when I don't ask for it? So it's like, whatever. If I can get the auto loan later, I don't care. Now, what happened was I pulled money from my PayPal and I put it into my bank account, but it went automatically to checking, and the fucking Robinhood app is set up to pull from savings where I didn't have any fucking money.
Oh.
So I got charged $30 from Robinhood, so now I have like negative $2, even though I should have like a shitload in there because I bounced because of my fucking bank. They screwed me, man.
Yeah.
They fucked me on this. And I called him and I was like, you're going to take this fee off on your end because you guys are the problem here. Like, this is, you caused this. I didn't ask for the fucking checking account. And the only reason why the PayPal money, the only reason why it went into that checking account is because it was fucking there. It wasn't there before, and you fuckers put it in there, and now I'm screwed. So now I have like negative $2 in my stock. Wow. And I had like 50 before. I was in the positive by a lot because I got charged $30, so I was going to be positive like 28. But now it's like negative. I'm in the hole. I don't even want to fucking do it anymore. And there was like nothing I could do because, yeah, I didn't have money in there. I just didn't. It's because it was in the wrong fucking place, man. So my stock thing is going fucking horribly because of that shit.
Well, the Robinhood app is for play, in my mind.
Yeah, I was just playing, and now I'm fucked for playing. I was just testing the waters, and I got fucking...
Playing with the big boys now.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just for fucking playing.
What did they say?
Robinhood?
No, the bank.
Oh, they said they're going to submit a thing to get me my money back. I'm like, you better get me my fucking money back or I'm out of here. Shouldn't get screwed for you guys opening an account.
Someone on the chat said I'm getting old. Is it because I said I was talking... Is it because I was talking about stocks?
I don't know.
I'm getting old? How old was Warren Buffett when he started investing? Wasn't he like 8 or something? He's just some little kid. So, I'm no Warren Buffett. I will probably never be a Warren Buffett. But he did start early. And here's what I heard about retirement. And the reason I started I have started now to take 15% of my paycheck and put it into retirement, is that it's just mathematically, it's just so much better the earlier you start. And I'm in a position where I can start saving for retirement. And my company doesn't offer 401k, so I had to open an individual retirement account. I did it through TD Ameritrade. Usually you just do mutual funds and ETFs, which don't have the trade bullshit on it. But if you do individual stocks on TD Ameritrade, the trade commission is pretty high. But, you know, I could, and so I did. And I said, I'm going to invest in Square Enix for the hell of it.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm trying to be smart with my money, that's all. I'm trying to be smart earlier rather than later. Being the 40-year-old, like...
rush?
The rush to retirement. I don't want to rush.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and, like, I think I'm going to pull out of mine completely because of that same reason. Because I'd rather put it all into here and get this
in your
paid
house
off.
And get your house paid off.
And even if I decide to go back to that later, if I pay it off in 10 years, I'm only 35 then. Or 37, I guess. 36-ish, 37. And I still would have time to...
At 37, you'd have your house paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to make
easily
that much money if you have your house paid off.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm going to jump. But I wanted to play with stocks, just a little bit, and then I get fucking burned. I was so fucking mad. And I woke up early, too. Like, I woke up at, like, 6 a.m. And the fucking worst part about it was, I got that thing at, like, 4:30 a.m., and I got paid at 6. So an hour and a half later, I had money.
So you're not... Okay, so this isn't like your account's in the negative right now, and it's getting continuously every day that it's in the negative, it's getting a fee.
No.
That's good.
The fucked up part is...
Because I've been in that situation.
It was in my savings, so there is no fee. There just isn't money. But there should have been money.
Wow.
But it automatically goes to my fucking checking, and it's not PayPal's fault.
So they moved... They opened a checking account and moved money into it?
No, money just automatically will go into it from PayPal. PayPal
sees so that's
the account,
what you're talking about, okay.
But it used to, the PayPal before would go into the savings because that's all that was fucking there, and I should have had the money, and I knew I had the money, but they fucked me on it. Because they sent it to the checking, no problem, it's fine with PayPal, that's what they do. If they send it to one, it's going to be the checking because it's easier. It's meant for that, it's meant for transfer. Savings, not really, but... So now I'm like burned on. I don't even.
So now this wasn't the stocks though. This was the bank.
Yeah, it was the bank.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
But Robinhood's not going to give me my money back, and my bank is. So.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll tweet him. I got to get my clout score high enough so that they have to respect me on Twitter.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Your clout score. Where can we get that program? Just to see where our social networking is.
The place I work has a new program that when tweets come in. They will tell you your clout, like how influential you are.
Clout.
Yeah, it's a K too. So.
Oh no, is it really?
It is, yeah.
Oh, that's a little Nazi-ish.
Yeah. So tweet at QuickBooks or at Intuit, and then tell me about it right after, and then I'll grab it for myself, and then I'll tell you, and then I'll get rid of it.
Your clout score.
Yeah.
Clout.
And that's just how much power you have in social media, basically. And it's based on, like, interactions from other people.
Like how many followers and how many interactions you get whenever you do post?
Yeah, it's mostly the interactions. It's mostly people engaging with you. Because before we had it to where, like, a special group of people, which is me and my old roommate, would have to answer, like, the high follower count people, because those people are the ones that generally have the highest clout.
But you can buy
in reality.
Followers.
But you could buy followers, right. So Cameron having a few thousand followers that we bought for him as a joke, doesn't have any clout really. He doesn't have any say. So if you want to do it, tweet me or tweet me and QuickBooks so that I can see it for sure, and then I'll tell you what it is.
And then they're gonna be like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, they're like, "Why do we have like 50 with Caleb's Twitter on it?"
Well, I might have said on a podcast.
Yeah. So
clout score.
The old clout. It's fun. It's cool.
Money for dummies, huh? Crinital wants money for dummies. Do you want it from us? Because that's a little... I don't think we're in a position to give financial advice. Crinital, we did just talk about Schweiss's checking just bouncing.
Yeah.
And I, of course, put retirement fund money into Square Enix. So that was probably not wise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sell it once the FF7 stuff comes out. When it's worth a lot of money.
You can read the books I've read. It's Millionaire Next Door and Rich Dad Poor Dad, which of course tells you not to invest in the stock market. It tells you to invest in businesses. And you can listen to the great courses on the stock market.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And whatever other shit I have on my Goodreads you can look at. But we should probably talk about Final Fantasy.
We should. And more importantly, Final Fantasy news. News. First up in news, Final Fantasy 15 PC gameplay shows Noctis and friends in action in 4K.
Shit. But you probably have to have good enough internet in order to stream the 4K footage, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't already picked up Final Fantasy 15, which I know you have, and you've been holding out for a PC port, it is in 4K resolution, and hopefully you have a monitor and computer good enough to run it at full specs. To find out more about those full specs, you can probably look online. It's going to be headed to PC early 2018 is what we're looking at right now, so... NVIDIA does have a trailer for the PC port showing its excellent resolution.
I feel like we've already played the game, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's fucking...
it is what it is.
It is.
Enjoy your 4K.
Honestly, it's kind of upsetting that they haven't... that it took this long for it to be released on PC. Like, I don't know.
It should have just been released on PC on release.
Yeah, I feel like we need... there are plenty of PC players out there, and they would have played Final Fantasy 15. But now Final Fantasy 15 is kind of older news, so I don't know how many people are going to be willing to just dive into FF15 after the fact.
Well, there are some people that don't have a PS4 or a computer and must play it on a phone.
That is true, yeah.
And so they get the Pocket Edition. Of course, there's just more footage of the Pocket Edition, which is just the game.
Yeah, and a lot of people...
Old style.
Yeah, it's animation. Like the Nintendo DS remakes of Final Fantasy. It's what it looks like. We did get we do have more images with the chibi-style characters. We got like the first 20 minutes of the game. And it looks pretty identical, other than the fact that it's chibi-ish. And
yeah, I find it so uninteresting, the news of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, I know this is 30 years of Final Fantasy this year, but, like, making another mobile weird version of Final Fantasy 15 is kind of an odd way to celebrate that.
Okay, you pulled open this web page, and I thought that there was another sequel coming to the 13 universe.
Oh, really?
All I saw was Lightning Resurrection, and I was like, oh my god, no!
Yeah, I just bought stock there. No, Mobius Final Fantasy is getting has gotten a Lightning Resurrection event. So if you guys play Mobius Final Fantasy, jump on there. Hope and Snow, they have a new job system, new in-game bonuses, all sorts of new goodies. It looks like that's coming out on the 15th for a couple other characters. Hope and Snow are going to come out instead of Lightning and Noel. So yeah, if you guys play Mobius,
if you guys waste your time with these Final Fantasy mobile games, go ahead.
If you do, I mean, I know a lot of people do. So, Dissidia Final Fantasy, we have a new character reveal, and it is Final Fantasy VIII's Ultimania.
Oh, except for the mobile crew, please, God.
Yeah.
People.
You guys can keep playing it.
The B team of Ultimate Final Fantasy, please continue to play the mobile game. Sorry, go ahead, Choice. So,
Dissidia Final Fantasy is available for arcades in Japan. That, of course, is coming out on January 30th, 2018, and January 11th in Japan.
Wow.
These bastards get it early. But we will be able to play as Ultimania. I'm kind of excited to be able to play one of those against you. Like, the other Dissidias, I'm not sure what our options will be at this point in the PlayStation Portable's life. I never really played Versus ever in my career on the PSP, so I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to play against each other. And I know we have Crystal Chronicles coming up where we can play with each other, But this is going to be our big chance to actually face off.
Face
Yeah.
off.
Against each other. We also have another very important, very large piece of news. They had an interview where they asked Square Enix if the Squall is Dead theory is true. And their answer...
Kitase.
It was with Kitase. The actual question was, on the theory that Final Fantasy VIII's Squall dies at the end of Disc 1 when he's stabbed by Aidea's Ice Spear, and that the rest of the game is in his dream, Kitase says, no, that is not true, he said, laughing. I think he was actually stabbed around the shoulder area, so he wasn't dead. But that is a very interesting idea, so if we ever do a remake of Final Fantasy VIII, I might go along with that story in mind. So basically what Kitase is saying is like, that would have been a good story, but we didn't give you a good story. We gave you what you got, and maybe we'll do that next time because it's better.
You know what? This entire article has a bunch of fan theory questions answered.
Yeah, it looks like Final Fantasy VIII's Renoa isn't Ultimacia.
Okay.
He says they wouldn't even incorporate that if they chose to remake the game. There's another theory that Final Fantasy VII's Knights of the Round are really the Cetra and defeated Genova 1,000 years before the events of the game. He says everyone's thinking too deeply, reading between the lines too much. That makes it difficult because if you think about it that way, we might have to make it that way. It's definitely not true.
Wow.
They said they also mentioned the fact that FF7 you'd originally be able to bring Aeris back to life, but that was cut from the game. He also denied that because of the obvious character development and character, like, you feel for the character when she dies, and they wouldn't have taken that away.
Right.
So pretty much all the theories in this article, bullshit, and he also said he's not going to come out and say that 10.2 and 7 are in the same world.
Said not completely.
Not completely,
So he doesn't deny it.
But he did say Shinra in Final Fantasy X-2 was created by Kazushige, Nojima, who was the scenario writer, and when he thought it up, he thought it might be good if people would imagine that after a few years, the story of X-2, that Shinra would grow up and start the Shinra Company. And we know that that one is actually a connection, because we talked about it years ago. It's dumb.
It is.
I think, but it is
Definitely
a connection, and it does connect the worlds. He said he's not going to say it's the same, but the guy who wrote it said it was. So, unfortunately, Kitase wasn't able to stop him before he did it, I guess.
Wait.
Yeah, so that's a pretty interesting article. Pretty much all of the fan theories are bullshit, according to that. The ones we've discussed thus far in the show, that's essentially where we got to anyway, so... Yeah. So, Final Fantasy XV's director, of course, Hajime Tabata, at PAX 2017, did discuss what is next for the game. It looks like we're still waiting on the Ignis expansion. We're going to see more multiplayer mode stuff and VR experiences. Of course, we have the mobile version of the game. Apparently, they're going to be moving on to something else, though. I think the...
16?
That's what we're...
Can we please, God, move on?
That's what we're kind of hoping.
Move
on! I don't know. I do feel like they do need to move on. I mean, and this is something that we ran into with Final Fantasy 13. That kind of bothered us then, and it still kind of bothers me now, where we have a series that's long-running, and we have great main series entries, and it almost seems like they're reluctant to create these main series entries. I mean, we look back in the olden days, Final Fantasy II came out a day less than a year after Final Fantasy I. And now I understand there's a lot more that goes into these games, and it takes thousands and thousands of man-hours to complete a Final Fantasy game now. They do outsource a fair amount of it nowadays, which they didn't before, so it's less of an understanding from me.
So much
as far as that
fucking
goes.
money.
A lot of money and a lot of effort to make these games the way they are. But at the same time, I just feel like making a 7 remake and making all of these other remasters and remakes and spending all this time bringing old material into new platforms is convenient for those of us who don't have the new consoles like a PS4 or don't have access to the PS3, PS2, PS1, GameCube, older shit, to remaster them and put them on there. That's great. It's when we get stuff like 13.2 and 10.2 and Lightning Returns and
Lightning Returns 2.
Yeah, and
Lightning Resurrection.
Yeah, Lightning Resurrection. And it's like these were 13.2 was a great game. I had a lot of fun with 13.2. Lightning Returns is so-so. It's got a really fun combat system, and I like where it went, but they could have done that with a completely new game, a completely new universe.
True. Yeah, honestly, the story could have been almost exactly the same, and it would be the same game.
Yeah.
And it would just be an interesting little game.
Yeah, and I don't see what the problem is.
It's like the 13 series was a series of just experimenting.
Yeah, and now it seems like they're kind of doing something similar with the 15 series, I want to say, in quotes. Because we've got the movie, we've got the anime, we've got the game itself, and now we're getting the game as a mobile version that's chibi, and then we got a King's Tale. And it just seems like they're almost universe building Final Fantasy 15. And I don't know if I feel like it needs it necessarily. I think the anime was worth our time, but I don't know if a King's Tale is super necessary. And honestly, I would have preferred it if it wasn't Final Fantasy 15 stuff, if it was just FF.
Take that $30 million or $60 million you put into making that movie. That, of course, only made $2 million back.
Yeah.
And, Square! Here, as a stockholder, fucking stop making the goddamn movies. They're a waste of money, they never make you any money, and they diminish the worth of your company.
Yeah, and I don't know, I've never been impressed with the movies, and it's almost insulting, it's almost like it's insulting to themselves, because they have to know.
Advent Children must be the only one that's made money.
They have to know that they're not making good films. And if you're not good at something, you should probably either get better at it, which they haven't, or stop doing it. Or find someone to do it for you that does it better.
Yes.
Do what you do and do it well. But
realize your audience is not big enough to cover that cost for that movie.
Yeah.
Unless it's just part of the game's budget.
Don't do what you do if you can't do it well. That's what I say. Just leave it alone.
I don't know about that statement as a whole.
As a company, I would say.
As a company, though, this is
true.
your third time. I believe Advent Children probably did make money for the company.
It did, yeah.
Its DVD sales were really high. King's Glaive, not the case for DVD sales. Advent Children, of course, it's made enough money for them that they're willing to put out re-releases of it over and over again. So there's something there. So that's fine. That's what's important to the company, is that it makes money at least, even if it's a critical failure. At least it makes money.
Yeah.
But the other two movies, I mean, Squaresoft tanked because of Spirits Within.
Yeah.
And that was the most valiant effort at a movie. And King's something. I can't remember which King's is the fucking spin-offs of 15
Three Kings, the movie.
God damn it. Yes, Three Kings, the movie, of course, that David O. Russell made with Square Enix.
Yes. Yeah. Great film.
Great movie. Anyway, I don't think that thing's made money. It made, what, $2 million in the box office? Right?
Something like that, yeah.
It opened in Japan at, like, number 8. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. We looked at it. We were curious as to what kind of a release we were going to be expecting in North America. And we're like, maybe if it's big enough, we might get it here.
And that movie cost way more than $2 million to make.
Yeah. Advent Children, I don't think cost that much.
Advent Children, I think, cost about $30.
Yeah, I think they're just scaled back a bit.
Having the cutscene guys make it.
But yeah, that kind of goes along the same idea of rehashing these old stories that we've had time and time again. And it's like, I don't know. It's not that I don't want to play the 7 remake. Like, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to buy it and play it day one, and I'm probably going to like it. It's just, I would rather see a new game with a great story than play a new take on a great story that I already know.
And just like one juggernaut game. I don't put everything into one project You know it will make money.
Yeah.
You know how many copies a new Final Fantasy game that's a main series game that has a couple years in between the last Final Fantasy main series game, it will sell at least 5 million copies. You can then budget your game out from there. You can budget the whole project out from there.
Yeah.
And just put everything you got into it.
Yeah, and if we did that, we would get Kingdom Hearts 3 out. We would get Final Fantasy 16 out. If we just had all of them, all of your cooks in
create your creative team, give them a deadline, and have them go for it.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's.
And we're saying like it's some simple thing. It's probably not.
We obviously don't know how to run a.
We obviously don't know how to run anything, but including our microphone shit today.
Yeah, but I mean, still though, it's crazy because not everyone. I mean, a lot of people disagree with us like wholeheartedly. Like, no, 7 Remake is all I've ever wanted.
As much content as possible, please.
Which is fine, and if that is really what you want, that's great. It's just like, well, wouldn't you rather get something that's better than 7?
Well, it's kind of just the difference between a person who wants to go to the all-you-can-eat buffet versus a really nice restaurant.
Yeah, I refuse to go to buffets because I think their food is subpar.
Most days, I would agree. I would rather go to a restaurant and get a good steak instead of going to Golden Corral and getting a shit steak.
A shit steak that tastes like 50 other foods.
Or really just dry and not very good, and everything's kind of dry at Golden Corral. It's dry corral is what they should call it. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Except for their soft serve ice cream thing in the corner, but you know.
I don't know. I look at companies like what Rockstar does.
Or what Blizzard does.
Yeah, or what Blizzard does.
I think Blizzard is the fucking best video game company. They're fantastic. They have a great image towards the public. They have a great company culture that I think is really awesome. All they work on is just one game every couple of years.
Yeah, and they get it out.
And their number one thing is quality. Of course, they take forever to get Diablo 3 right in their minds, right? Fucking Diablo 3's, what was that, 10 years or something like that?
Yeah, it was.
And that was Diablo 3. This was like, FF15 took 10 years, but it was a similar situation. But they didn't decide you have to have it out on this day. They waited.
Yeah, and then the thing that bugs me...
I'd almost be into that, too.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at games like Lightning Returns, and we have this great feature where you can, compare your stats with your buddies. Lightning Returns came out during this podcast's run. We're only 3 years old. All the online servers are gone. I can put in Grand Theft Auto 4, a game that came out almost 10 years ago, I think. I think it was 08. And I can still play it online.
Is that 08?
Yeah.
I'm going to kill myself.
I can still play that game online. They have servers up for it. They have no plans of taking them down. Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS3? Did they release it on PS4? Yes. Do they still have servers for PS3? Absolutely. They care. And, they put out 5, and they make more content for 5, the game itself, not, movies and fucking TV shows and mobile versions of Grand Theft Auto 5. They just make that thing better after they release it. And when they release it, it's fucking awesome every time. It's never not fucking awesome. Never!
Oh, 1 and 2.
I guess, but those are ancient.
Yeah.
But ever since 3, it's just awesome.
It's like Blizzard's first few games. No one knows what the fuck they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but they focus on the one thing that they've done.
I would prefer a Square that was like that. That would put out, every year. They're obviously a bigger company, and they have a bunch of different development teams. Every year, just one juggernaut title, and then one big experimental title as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, something to that effect, or something like they did in the 90s. They obviously had half a dozen games going on every year. But it wasn't 12 mobile games that they're putting money into. It wasn't it wasn't the same as it is now. It wasn't sequel after sequel. It was just the big titles.
Yeah.
And they cared about making good games, I think, back then. I don't know. We can bitch about that kind of shit all day, though.
Yeah, we can. I mean, I just hate looking to the past for future titles. I do. I hate it. 7 is great. It's a great game. I have it at the top of my list. I don't need a 7 remake. It doesn't need a remake to be at the top of said list. It needs to be... I want Final Fantasy 16 to make 7 look like Child's Play, but we can't because they're fucking worrying about the Final Fantasy 7 remake. God knows when we're going to get 16. And then they're messing around with like mobile stuff for 15. Like, it's one thing to have the add-on expansion scenarios for 15. That's fine. That's more gameplay. That's more stuff. I haven't touched them yet, and I might not for a while because I'm busy with other shit, but I will eventually, and that is the kind of thing I appreciate. What I don't like is the mobile version of it, like the gimmicky shit. It just seems like a waste of time.
Yeah, the gimmicky stuff, I agree. That is kind of the
I don't know.
issue.
I don't know, but last piece of news here, Final Fantasy XIV Update 4.1 is coming early October with Ivalice, an Ivalice raid. And the artwork I'm looking at right now is artwork of Ramza and Delita from Final Fantasy Tactics. I believe, Joe, that this is no coincidence. I think they saw that we were nearing our Tactics run, and they said, we need a Final Fantasy XIV Tactics tie-in.
That is true. And they said, Joe now owns 3 stocks.
We must.
In our company. We have to appreciate.
I think we would be fools to believe otherwise, in fact.
Right.
This is clearly the only reason why this is happening. For Final Fantasy XIV. So that's going to be awesome. If you want to hear more about that, I'm sure Limit Break went into uber details. I just know that we have a screenshot here, and it is of Final Fantasy Tactics, and we just so happen to be in our Final Fantasy Tactics run. So
we're in the Ivalice run. I'm not. You are.
Yeah.
Let's clarify that. I am in Limbo.
Yes, in what is it? I was thinking of the Mormon limbo thing. What is that called?
Spirit prison.
Spirit prison. Yeah, there you go.
Paradise.
Spirit. We're in. Yeah.
Thanks.
That's where I'm in Spirit Paradise because I'm playing Tactics.
Okay.
We're in Spirit prison.
That's right. I need to accept the Tactics gospel.
Yes, Caleb agrees. Caleb Craig.
Yeah.
Just smiled wherever he's at right now. He just smiled up at the sky.
Yep. All right. Do you want to talk about this fucking thing that we listened to this morning?
Yeah, we really should.
TheLightstream.net presents The Maiden Who Travels the Planet.
Hoshi wo Meguru Otome. Commonly known as The Maiden Who Travels the Planet. It's a novella written by old Benny Matsuyama that relates the events occurring in the life stream from Aerith Gainsborough's point of view since the time of her death up to the ending of Final Fantasy VII. It was published in the Final Fantasy VII Ultimania Omega, the things that we don't get over here.
Yep.
And we don't get translated unless the live stream decides out of their own good hearts to do so. So fucking come on. Anyway, the novella expands on the meaning of existence in the live stream and its role within the planet, giving a dual role similar to heaven and hell based on what happens before you die in the world, essentially. But not really. It's like in a weird way where, like, if you have an ego, they said, if you have a big ego, so we would be fine in the afterlife. Here we would remember and retain all of our existence. You are able to manifest yourself within the live stream, apparently. And I guess those who have led good lives are allowed to be absorbed into the collective of the live stream. So kind of the shitlords are the ones that are left, and then Aerith, of course,
right,
who can't be good because she slept with 2 men who both fell through the roof of her church. And
wait, is that a euphemism for something?
I don't know. It's she slept.
Both fell through the roof.
Yeah, she's always.
Roof of her church.
That's like her thing.
This is a holy place.
Yeah, that's her fetish. Is like roof crashers. She'll go with anybody who falls through.
I'm thinking of some really dirty stuff now. So.
Yeah, that is what I And that is what I have come to realize from Aerith, that if you fall through the roof, those pants drop. That dress just flies off. Anyway, so this is a... honestly, I wish we would have read this one first, or listened to this one first, because all of the other On the Way to a Smile...
took place in Advent Children.
Yeah, they took place after 7, before Advent Children. This one... Like, right off the bat, I was like, wait a minute.
Well, this isn't part of the same collection. This is a...
No, not quite. It is an offshoot. I just wish we would have done this one before.
Right.
It's not... apparently, no one really knows for sure if it is canon. A lot of stuff has been omitted from the On the Way to a Smile series. But this one, honestly, I didn't notice any real canonical issues with it. So, if it isn't canon...
No. Okay, so... Let's go into what this actually is. It's her and her thoughts.
Yeah.
And she has no real feel of time. She has conversations with other dead souls that she barely met.
Yeah.
She does not give any thoughts whatsoever to family or other old friends that may have passed before, only to the very recent events of FF7, I would like to say. And then, of course, she comes in her consciousness, and she rescues Cloud at the end. Her hand coming through was actually her manifesting a hand coming through, which I just thought it was,
symbolic.
Beautifully artistically symbolic in the original cutscene, and has now been retconned into an actual hand... spirit hand coming out.
Well, I mean, I guess
and pulling Cloud up.
It could still be argued that it was still symbolic, because if you remember, when he does get pulled up, it ends up being Tifa. That's why I hate the On the Way to a Smile stuff, because it just shits the bed when it comes to that, and Advent Children as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's flowing through the live stream. One of the things I wrote down here was humans are atheists on Gaia, because they're talking about, she's like, wow, this is weird. There is an afterlife of sorts. Most people back on the planet just thought that everything went to black and it just ceased to be. And that's why they wanted to prolong their life as long as possible. And I'm like, man, that is so different from where we are now. Like, I'm the crazy one for thinking that is going to happen. But so it's like a weird backwards world where they're like, yeah, we die and we're just fucking dead. We're gone. It's over. So I thought that was interesting, especially in a world that has godlike beings and summons and all these other weird things that can't necessarily be explained. She feels Cloud's pain through herself.
So it's weird being on the other side of it, because I've been on both sides.
Yeah.
And now that I'm a non-believer, it's bizarre to me that no one thinks when you're in an insular kind of faith-based world, it makes total sense to you. And it's just, I guess it's just Plato's allegory of the cave. You just keep moving back, and you just find out that there's so much more that you don't know, because there's always another level behind you.
And then you're fear
of knowledge.
Yeah, you go back into the cave.
And but once you get back there, there's no unseeing kind of the weird insular world that has been created. It's obvious, but only to you.
Yeah.
Because you bowled out from there.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
So she feels the feelings of Cloud, all of his pain, all of his suffering at her death. And Aerith, as far as she knows, she's the only one with an actual consciousness up to this point. Time is really fucked up and weird. If you don't think about it, a lot of time can pass, I guess. And if you do think about it, it can slow down. I don't know. Not much time passes, so I kind of call bullshit on that, but whatever.
It's not a very long book anyway, so...
No, it isn't.
This is her stream of consciousness from the beginning to the end.
Then I guess, yeah.
It's real fucking fast.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, then I also wrote down you need an ego to remain in the afterworld. And to me, I was really laughing. And because they were talking about the search for the promised land, and
I'd be fine.
The boundless energy that they were seeking, because that's what Shinra was after. They wanted to find the promised land. They want the energy from that place. And I wrote down here, promised land equals Saudi Arabia, because That's where a lot of the oil
Right.
reserves are in the world. So that is the Promised Land, and it's close to the Holy Land.
Let's
right?
go get it.
Yeah,
Let's go get that oil.
Yeah. So Promised Land equals Saudi Arabia. Aerith meets up with another girl who is a Avalanche member, Jessie. She, of course, died in a horrific plate smashing accident. Was reduced to I don't
Nothing.
know what. Yeah. I wouldn't say waffle because that's a little too thick. I also commented here that the voice acting for Wedge was really weird in this one. It was like he had like an odd. I don't know. It was strange.
It was boyish.
Yeah,
Unusually boyish.
I mean, he is a big guy, and Craig does kind of sound boyish.
Dude!
Yeah, so maybe that's what
Only
they were
when he's
going
getting
for.
pissed off.
Yeah, he sounds normal when he's just talking.
I'm not. He's not.
Another thing that this story brought in that really actually pissed me off was the Avalanche member. These guys were talking about how they didn't really know that the reactor was going to cause the damage it did. They were like, "Oh, I didn't realize that we were part of this thing and it was going to be so destructive. We didn't know." And I'm like, okay, Avalanche is like
what?
5 people or 6 people, right? As far as I know, in 7.
You're blowing up a thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna do some damage.
And it blew up and killed people. And they're in this fucking story. They're blowing it off like they were ignorant to the idea, ignorant to the fact that they were going to cause harm to individuals by blowing up an energy reactor. What do you think's going to happen? What? They're like, and then they made it like, oh, the person who made the bomb. They mentioned something about the person who made the bomb. And I'm like, what is this shit? What are you, like, innocent? You feel like you've been wronged and you're in this purgatory
Terrorist?
state because you didn't know the bomb was going to cause damage and kill people? Like, what? That part pissed me off in this thing. I was like, that's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. Their ignorance it's too much. I don't understand how they wouldn't know. So after this, poor me conversation from the Avalanche people, who now I feel like deserve to be destroyed because of their ignorance, in 7, they dissipate, and we meet up with Dine, the father.
They have no more ego after that point.
Yeah, their ego is gone. They have de-egified themselves.
De-egify.
And we get to meet up with Marlene's father, Dine. Apparently, there's no justice.
I've been dying to see you.
There's no justice in the afterlife because this guy's here and whatever. He reminisces about the kills he's made, and that's kind of like his entire existence is just thinking back on all the awesome kills that he did. Like, man,
some good killing.
That dude behind the counter at the Golden Corral, the Golden Corral, I destroyed him because his ham was way overcooked. That's what he was saying. He was thinking back on the good times when he would just slaughter.
Here was the hilarious. Okay, have you gotten to where he disappears?
No, that's where I'm going next.
Okay. All right, so they have a conversation. He's just a horrible human being.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He dissipates, and in the live stream translation version, they talk about his gun hand, it's trailing behind him, basically. And I thought, so do guns have souls in the FF7 universe? Because the gun hand of Dine followed him to the afterlife.
Yeah, his gun hand is there, yes.
His gun hand is literally a part of him.
Yeah, it's
soul
weird.
of the gun hand soul.
Yeah, so that's what I wrote down.
Crazy
soul
concept.
Of a gun. It is crazy, and I guess guns are people too.
Guns are
it's the only.
Guns are people too, my friends.
Yeah, remember, guns are people. That's the only thing I can pull from that.
That's a really good argument.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can't get rid of the guns. It's abortion. That's not just abortion. That's like kill. It's just
that's
killing.
genocide.
Genocide.
Genocide. Almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guns are people too, my friends.
Yeah. The next part I really got a kick out of. There's a guy in here who
Guns don't kill people. Guns kill people. What?
Yeah. Guns don't kill people. People kill guns. That's what it is.
Okay.
So I got another one here. The voice actor for Shinra in this wonderfully put together live stream thing sounds like he's doing a great impersonation of Saruman. And I was like cracking up. I was just thinking that the line, and it totally fits. I gave you the chance to aid me willingly, but you have elected the way of pain.
Pain!
And it works so well with Shinra's like situation with the Cetra and with trying to like get her in Shinra to find the promised land. Like, I gave you the chance to aid me.
I would have
willingly.
never given Shinra the voice of Christopher Lee.
It's
Ever.
good though. It is. That guy
He's on.
Yeah, it's almost perfect. Christopher Lee voice, and very impressive.
Gandalf the Grey has come to Isengard, seeking my counsel.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that guy is spot on.
Of course, Christopher Lee was only in Lord of the Rings, so we only say Lord of the
yeah.
Rings Christopher Lee lines. That's important.
Yes, I mean, no one really cares about Star Wars Episode 2. I mean, it's just a second film.
His other movie.
Yeah, his other movie.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
Only 2 credits on IMDb. What a poor career.
I know.
The guy had.
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
tried this heavy metal band too. Really.
Yeah,
Actually, that was really awful.
it was bad. Yes,
Bad.
I
Can't
would've-
speak ill of the dead, though.
I would have rather heard Shinra voiced by our president, but I mean that's probably out of the budget because I think he would fit.
I forgot. I thought Obama was our president for like 5 seconds there. I was in a better world for a second,
Yeah.
and now I've come back to this shithole
Welcome.
that we're in.
Welcome, but yeah, I think Shinra, I think he does kind of feel like that, like a really egotistical, like very self-centered,
Horrible human
very
being, yeah.
concerned with his image because he is alive in the afterworld, and he starts like this weird pissing contest with Aerith, and he's like, I have this great company, we've created
Fantastic company.
a lot of wonderful brands.
We're gonna bring back.
yeah, we're gonna bring the jobs back.
We're gonna bring the jobs back.
yeah.
We're gonna bring back Mako Energy.
Yeah,
They're like Mako Energy is dead.
yeah, exactly.
No. We're gonna open back up the
clean
Mako
energy.
energy plants.
It's clean energy. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So he engages with like a pissing contest.
God, you just pissed me off.
With,
you just pissed me off. I'm so mad right now.
With Aerith. He's like, I've done all these great things in my life, wonderful things, and what have you done? You sold flowers, okay? Flowers on a market. And it's a weird thing, a weird freakish event, and then he just kind of goes off and, is being an asshole by himself. And this is when we see Cloud in the live stream. And now at first, we're thinking, oh man, Cloud's dead. But he's not dead. He's just fallen into the live stream during that one part in Final Fantasy VII. And this part really made me laugh, where she's like, Cloud isn't an empty shell. And I'm like, it's a weird thing to say, and kind of, he doesn't have a whole lot of personality in the game.
You did just say it, so
Yeah,
you must have been thinking it
I'm
at
like,
some
who
point.
wrote this in here to be like, okay, make sure Cloud doesn't seem like an empty shell? And then they like had the final draft.
Cloud is not an empty shell.
Yeah, and they had the final draft, and like the guy's like, oh shit,
Control S.
I didn't
print.
put in. Oh fuck. Okay, Cloud is not an empty shell. There we go. It's in there.
Just a little arrow and then
Yeah.
in handwriting.
Exactly, and it's like
Beautiful.
And then like also after that, it's exit stage left, and they say it. Like they say it out loud as if it's their line. It's one of those situations.
It's a play.
Yeah. And they talk about Tifa's first time, which I got a little giggle out of, because she comes into contact with the live stream as well to rescue Cloud during the game. And
Wait, they banged in there?
oh yes,
Oh, okay.
3-way in fact. Mako intoxication, I wrote down, is similar to Caleb Craig has a sister, and her sister has a boyfriend, and he drinks. This is freakish.
Okay, hold on. All right, just
has-
start. Give it a good groundwork
All right,
for this
so
story.
we made an episode on Nude Clan called The Ultimate Douche, where we built Caleb Craig's sister's boyfriend on the show. I don't know if he vapes, but if he does, then he is the epitome of what we built that day.
Yeah.
That douche we created.
Speaking
as a
of
group.
builds, he would probably talk about builds a
Oh,
lot.
I am fucking certain. That was another thing I was going to rage about. Oh my god. Anyway, I brought this back to it because I talked about being intoxicated on the Mako, and it was like an actual intoxication. Like the people in there, they're fucked up, right? They are trashed in this Mako thing. And so I was thinking of someone.
First time I heard. Okay, go ahead.
I reminisced about Caleb Craig telling me one day that his sister's boyfriend has an addiction to vanilla extract. And I was like, what? I was like, so he's an alcoholic? And Caleb's like, no, he doesn't drink unless it's vanilla extract. I'm like, first of all, that is disgusting. If you've ever tasted vanilla extract, it is awful. And yeah, it's like 900,000 proof alcohol, but it's so gross. It is disgusting. So I for some reason, when I heard Mako intoxication, Mako bullshit word, right? Intoxication, drunk. I thought vanilla extract, bullshit thing to get drunk off of. Mako intoxication, parallel.
Oh my god.
I laughed forever at that. Thank you for the follow-up on it, kid. But Mako, the vanilla extract thing is ludicrous. And I guess the guy it's a sad story, to be honest. He hides, like, vanilla extract bottles around the house to go get drunk off them. I'm like, there's a problem.
He's not a vanilla... This is where Caleb Craig is wrong. He is an alcoholic. His drink of choice is, unfortunately, vanilla extract.
I can't think of anything in this world that is more disgusting at this moment than pure vanilla extract. That is brutal. It is so fucking brutal.
When did he try it?
I don't know. I don't know when you can get addicted to vanilla extract.
I'm gonna do this. Boop.
I don't know. He fell. Here's what happened. Just like Cloud fell into the live stream, he fell into a vat of vanilla extract and suddenly got vanilla extract intoxication and couldn't give it up. To this day, must have vanilla extract. So Cloud probably sniffs Mako energy from time to time like gas. He just like sniffs that shit up.
He probably had that vanilla Jägermeister.
Oh yeah, that's
and he just like he's like, it's not enough.
Yeah,
it's not enough vanilla.
And then he started adding vanilla into the Jaeger.
Vanilla.
And then he just stopped the Jaeger. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
The vanilla ice cream for...
Oh, vanilla Jello shots. It's everything vanilla.
So terrible.
I know, it's nuts, dude.
It smells great.
Yeah, it does smell good, but it does not taste good at all. We also run into yet another asshole from the 7 universe in the live stream.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Via Hojo. Yeah.
Just an asshole?
Yes, unpuckering and puckering for us.
Okay.
And the Hojo guy, I will say, this voice actor was pretty spot on, too, and he was doing his Mark Hamill impersonation for Joker.
His Mark Hamill Joker, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey!
Yeah, it wasn't actual Mark Hamill. It was the Bats. Bats one, and so I was impressed with the voice acting in this one, especially those two characters, Christopher Lee, the late Christopher Lee, and also Mark Hamill. I'm surprised he did this gig, honestly. I feel like it's an honor, though, to have heard his voice acting.
Yes.
And Hojo, there's a really funny part where he's like talking about how he's laughing as if he's still human, because she's like, don't you have anything left of your soul? And it's like, he talks about how he just like rips off his vest that he's wearing, like his lab coat. And I was like, dude, he's totally going to show her his fucking dick. But he doesn't. He just rips it off. Yeah, and maybe he does. Maybe it's like a creature penis now. But he shows her that, like, hey, I made myself a monster. I didn't get enough. I didn't get my rocks off enough making other people monsters, so I had to do it to myself.
Wow. And
then, of course, your boyfriend, your new one, not your old one, killed me, and now I'm in the afterworld kind of a thing. I noted in here that it was weird to me, and it's always been weird to me, how in Final Fantasy VII, the holy materia that is used to combat Medio is a bead in her hair, right? Like, they put this in this child's hair. That little...
Someone's got to be like, hey,
does that look like
materia? Is that a materia piece?
Yeah, and, like, you really entrusted that in the hands of a child? I mean, I know she's not a normal child. She's probably a very responsible, low-maintenance child. But it's in her hair. Like, what if she was just playing one day and, like, the thing fell out and got lost, and then the world just gets fucking destroyed?
You say very responsible, low-maintenance, but she chose as her profession to live in the church and sell flowers. So...
True. Even more risk, though, in a way, I guess, yeah.
It's a little... I wouldn't call that like head on your shoulders. That's a little hippie. It's a little hippie mom.
Out of touch, yeah. So I did find that odd in the thing, and then I also got a chuckle out of a line that they gave from here, and it was the Avalanche members, and they were like, "Oh, this is blah 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 from the Avalanche live stream division." Like, oh, they're just joking. I'm like, you guys just barely talked about how you didn't realize you were going to kill a bunch of people, and now you're just quipping about your new name, your new department name. It is weird. Weird, very weird. And then this is another weird semi-retcon-ish thing. I guess the consciousness of the dead helped guide the live stream to combat Medio in the game. And I always interpreted Final Fantasy VII's ending to be the planet itself. And now I guess this kind of works in the confines of the universe, because we have Final Fantasy VII, and we have the Bugenhagen scene where he goes through and shows us that, when someone dies, like one person on one end of the planet dies, and then a tree sprouts up on the other end. So it's like it's almost like a reincarnation or like a cycle of life. Like there is X amount of life energy in this world.
Like Hindu sort of,
or even like
I think
Hindu,
right?
Mixed in with like a Jedi philosophy of like, oh, there can only be two. Now I must die in one hit to Vader on this fucking ship, kind of a thing like going on in the game. And I never really interpreted it quite as the consciousness of the people guiding the live stream to help Medio. I just thought of it as the live stream itself. But I guess the live stream is made up of all of the living materia. Basically, it's just carbon, as far as I can tell. The live stream is just a mass of green carbon.
Cycle.
Yes. And it came up to save the planet from Medio. And I don't know, I thought that was kind of interesting. At first I thought it was weird, but then thinking back to the Bugenhagen stuff, I guess it does make sense. But the part that doesn't make sense is, if you were good, I mean, the consciousness is supposed to basically dissipate into the live stream, but that almost makes it seem like you lose yourself, like you just become part of the group, the collective, so you lose your individuality and become just another spoke in the wheel, which then would make it weird to think about how the live stream consciousness guided the live stream back up there. I don't know.
You just don't know where your real self is.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you know you're in the right place, but you just don't know who you are.
Yeah, I don't like this afterlife. I don't like it at all.
It sounds pretty shitty, actually. Yeah.
How about nothing or full consciousness?
Yeah, so we have like the assholes of the world and Aerith get to retain themselves fully, and they know who they are, know who they were, know exactly what they did. But the good people just kind of forgetting themselves, like, I don't really remember, like, you look familiar to me, but I'm fucking dead, so I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anymore.
I would rather just, like, when I die, nothing or all.
Yeah.
You can't.
No middle ground.
No middle ground where, like, oh, I remember myself, but, I gotta hold on to myself or else I might lose myself. Like, that's hell. Yeah. She went to hell. I'm pretty sure she went to hell.
I don't know why.
It sounded like hell to me.
The only reason I could come up with is
just group mentality only.
Yeah.
That's
hell or China, but I mean, come on. So I made this
little... China wants you to think, anyway.
Yeah. I think she went to hell because of the Zack Cloud thing. I think that's
She went to hell because she was a slut? Is that what you're saying?
To two people. Now, I don't want to shame her. And everyone has to have
that is the definition of...
Everyone has to have a code, but it's weird when the code falls through ceiling of church into flower bed. Mm-hmm. That's shaky.
Yeah,
that's shaky moral ground.
She's got to go to hell after that.
Exactly, and she wasn't sucked into the live stream. So she clearly didn't live a good enough life to just go in and be part of it.
Someone's going to think we were serious.
I know.
Tweet us.
Someone's going to hate
Someone's
that.
Someone's going to be like, you slut-shaming bastards.
Yeah. Be like, no, I love sluts. I love
sluts.
I love sluts, okay? I love them. Right. Yeah. Fuck, I don't think that helped at all. You don't know how much I love.
I love a good slut. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I got nothing against sluts.
But, I mean, it's weird that, like, most everyone else that's there that remembers themselves are that way, but I guess it is explained away by her being a Cetra, so she has kind of a stronger will of sorts, which makes sense. I mean, they have to have something going for them.
Well, the other people she talked to were there.
Yeah, but
they weren't Cetra.
I know, but they barely recognize themselves, except for the really evil people. And that's the weird part to me, is that...
They held on to their ego.
Yeah, they held on to their ego.
Which makes it sound like...
You need to be an
as
asshole.
egotistical as possible.
Exactly, yeah.
So that in the afterlife, you can retain yourself.
Yeah, because why would you want to live on as not you? I would argue that you wouldn't. So you must be egotistical. Constantly say that you're right. Thank you, Adeline, for following. And you'll make it into the afterlife.
Excuse me, it's Adeline.
Yeah, retaining all of your existence. It'll be a good time. It'll be a great time. In fact, I think we have a couple questions we need to jump into. So let's get into those.
Questions for us. We would like to hear from you. Go to our forums or contact us on Twitter. Get on and ask us the questions. We'll answer them within a week. This is the question segment. Ask and you will receive.
All right, what question we got?
We got, which action RPG did a better job with the combat? Nier Automata or Final Fantasy 15?
Well, so I've played about half of Nier Automata, and I did what Schweiss suggested. I played Nier Automata on easy mode. And, what happened?
Nothing. It's fine.
Okay, it's fine. The shit.
I was just turning it down a little bit.
Oh, okay. So I played Nier Automata on easy mode, and that immediately I was smashing buttons, and I felt like I wasn't doing what I was doing on the screen sometimes. And I was just like, what is this game? Why is this game like this? And then I started messing with my chips in Nier. There's these automated things that are called chips that you can use. And you go into the menu to configure them. And I found that there was something called auto attack on.
Yeah.
And so she was attacking, and I had no control over her. Attacking! So in easy mode, the game literally plays itself. So I had to disable that, and I have to disable it every time I go in and mess with my chips. And I put it in default, and then I had to just turn that one off. There's also auto dodge, which I chose not to turn off because it was kind of nice.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I don't like the idea that easy mode is auto mode.
Yeah.
I wanted easy mode to be its normal mode, but kind of nerfed a little bit. That's what easy mode should be.
Yeah, it should be.
But it's easy mode and, it's a movie mode. You just point the stick in the direction your character should go, and she'll do everything else.
Yeah, it's almost like you're playing a Telltale game at that point. You're just like, all right, let's go over here, and okay, you do this action, I'll select to do this one, and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, combat's fine when I turn that off, and I was able to hack and slash, and I've manually controlled other things in the game just to play around, but I do prefer 15's. What did 15? 15 had a easy and a normal, right? Or did it have normal and hard? Or
it was easy and normal.
It was easy and normal, okay. And I played normal. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all it did was nerf. I'm pretty sure it didn't make it play the game for you. And for that simple fact, and for the fact that I really liked the battle system of 15, and I think Nier is fine right now, I actually prefer 15's battle system. It's not as artsy, it's not as visually kind of polished, though.
I think I like Niers a little bit more than 15's. I had a lot of fun with 15, and I put 100 hours into the game. I mean, that's got to count for something. And I sucked at it in the beginning, which I also sucked at Nier in the beginning. I found that I might not be good at these games, these action games. I don't know
RPGs.
how, because I am awesome at God of War, and I was pretty fucking good at DMC, but these two I am not good at, apparently. But I don't know. I feel like Niers is a little bit more interactive. I think it makes more sense, and I like the variety of it. I love, and you haven't gotten to this part yet in the game, but you hack a lot in the second playthrough, and I love that I can just do that and get really good at this little mini game. And then if I want to do combat, I could do real combat, but it specializes the combat to that specific character, so it makes sense to do the hacking because they're not that strong. And I like that. I like that element of Nier. And 15 doesn't have that as much. I mean, you have your party members and their group abilities and their AoEs, and then their Prompto uses a gun, Gladiolus uses his big ass fucking sword to do a shitload of damage, Ignis sets up a big combo kind of thing. Those are really fun.
Right.
But Nier, I think, is more intuitive with the combat and has more to offer overall.
I find it less intuitive, actually.
Nier's?
Yeah. There is something about the actual physics in the game of her hitting something in a specific direction that I fucking pointed her in, and even though it's off of auto attack mode, right? There's still I always knew in 15 when he hit the enemy, and in Nier, there's a couple feet of air in between her and a giant boss. And it doesn't, the impact, I don't feel. It's a weird thing to describe, but I just don't feel it as much in Nier as I do in 15. But they're both really great, so I don't know.
Yeah, they're both good at action RPGs.
Yeah. I'll tell you my story opinion later.
Yeah. Abrax says he likes 15 a lot. It was his game of the year last year. Nier Automata's combat is significantly better in his opinion. You can look pretty cool in 15, but it always feels a little clunky and awkward. Nier's combat is buttery smooth, platinum goodness. Nier is way too easy, though. It gives you tons of cool tools, but little reason to use most of them. People like to compare 15's combat to Kingdom Hearts, but it didn't go far enough in that direction, and personally, it doesn't feel similar to Kingdom Hearts to him at all. Troy says, I think the saying that 15 feels like Kingdom Hearts comes from the early footage of FF15 when it was Versus. The combat made Noctis look real floaty, and the magic looked a little closer to Kingdom Hearts. It really doesn't take too much from Kingdom Hearts itself. As for the actual question, Nier Automata is better for him.
I disagree.
I would say it does take some.
I disagree, Taku Amazuki. There are differences, definitely. But 15's control scheme is very, very close to Kingdom Hearts. Its magic system is not. That stuff is. It's definitely not. But it's the speed of it and the rhythm of it that are very similar. I would almost argue that it's similar in the way that Destiny is similar to Halo. It's made by the same people, and you can feel in the physics of the game, the feel of the shooter, that this is really similar. But then you play Call of Duty, and it's really different.
Yeah.
I would say 15 kind of has the same feel that Kingdom Hearts does, but it is a more complex system, definitely, than Kingdom Hearts is. But with Nier, I actually compared Nier to Kingdom Hearts 2 the other day, in that it's when you play Nier on easy, it is as easy as Kingdom Hearts 2. And I'm not including a Sephiroth fight in there. Everybody always fucking brings that up when I say Kingdom Hearts 2 is easy. That is an optional fight. The actual Kingdom Hearts 2 is... I think I died twice in the campaign of Kingdom Hearts 2. Twice.
I died
2 separate
5
bosses.
times in Nier. Yeah, so.
And
the corpses are piled high in Nier.
Technically, I have died more in Nier, but it is just as easy. In easy mode, anyway.
Yeah, Troy says 15 made the actions mostly realistic and slow. While 15 may have had more weapons and styles to fight with, it suffered because almost everyone picked their weapon and stuck with the set because Warp Strike and Parry were too good to pass up. Nier is more fast-paced and stylish. It took the different approach and limited the amount of weapons to fight with, but was creative with its enemies and presentation. Basically, one made enemies based on weapons, and one made weapons based on enemies.
Okay. I do love Nier's presentation.
Yeah.
It is really interesting and really cool.
It's almost like an indie game with a
sometimes
AAA title.
It goes in there. It's like sometimes it'll be like a sort of normal action RPG mode, which I would call Kingdom Hearts kind of the quintessential JRPG action RPG.
Right.
And then it decides to do its like side-scrolling action.
Yeah.
It's over the head action, and it's just and it looks like Metal Gear Solid sometimes. Like it's really cool, and it adds another level to the gameplay. So I don't know. I just love the combat in 15 so much that I haven't played enough of Nier to like make a final decision. I'm gonna turn off some of that other auto stuff that's going on in Nier so I can get a better like appreciation of the game in the second half. But so I might return to this. I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's my feelings right
Ask
now.
it on the Nude Clan for the review of Nier. That's a good one though. All right, so we have ISDN and maybe a return. What?
This is from Harry Gooseballs.
Hey guys, I was wondering, have you thought about an ISDN line? I think this could be an alternative to the Skype calling. That's a good
well,
good
we
timing.
might have an alternative to the Skype calling, yeah. I like that.
And it's
people
way-
in the Twitch will know what we're talking about.
And it's way better quality, at least from what I've heard on radio shows. I've heard it's about 40 to 60 a month, but it would give the appearance of both you being there when Joe can't make it or when one of you moves. Just a thought/suggestion. And my other question is
let's add a landline too, Schweiss.
Yeah.
Let's do that, and then we'll sound as clear as we possibly can.
Let's say 2 or 3 years have passed and the list is complete. Would you guys make a return to UFF for Final Fantasy 16 to keep them all together? I assume there would be another game podcast, possibly on another franchise, or Nude Clan would become the main focus. Or would you just do it for Nude Clan? I kind of think the Final Fantasy needs to be separated because we've spent the last 3 years making a Final Fantasy podcast, and if we're gonna play 16, which I will play 16 at the very least, and I assume you would too.
Yes.
We would make an episode.
There will
for
not be a main
Nude
series
Clan.
Final Fantasy put out in my life that I will not play.
Yeah, so we'll review it here. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we'll resurrect the podcast for a few months.
Depends on how long it takes to get to 15. So, like...
Or 16.
At the moment... Or, sorry, 16. At the moment, we're thinking about Getting Fat and just uploading them all to YouTube and just getting rid of the podcast feed. But still having the episodes around where you can listen to them for free, you know. There's a place you can do it. We might do the same thing for UFF, but... Once again, Getting Fat has been dead for a year and a half. We're still keeping it alive.
Yeah, we just keep it in the RSS
A couple
feed.
bucks a month and just stays there.
Yeah.
We'll probably do the same thing for Ultima for a very long time until we decide that it's no longer worth it, and we'll put it into another place that people can see or people can enjoy the content. Hopefully.
Yeah, and it's negligible. I mean, it's like $5 to keep the RSS feed up, and that's if I'm thinking about learning how to do my own, just so that we can get away from the big government of Libsyn.
Well, yeah.
And,
it's really just the big expense.
The
of
taxes,
Libsyn.
the taxes from Libsyn. But I don't know. We'll see about it. And I don't really feel right about us reviewing a Final Fantasy on Nude Clan. The other guys can do whatever they want. They can review 15 if Kaleb and Cameron choose. And
That's
I hope
true.
Cameron does, because he has a copy of the game from Kaleb. Because Kaleb was impatient and thought his copy got stolen, so he bought a digital one, never uploaded it, never downloaded the game, and then just gave the code to Cameron. So they both have it, and they don't really have a review. Kaleb came on our 15 review, I believe, gave his thoughts, but Cameron, no. So, I mean, I'm fine with them reviewing games themselves that are Final Fantasies, but anything Final Fantasy, I think, needs to be on Ultima Final Fantasy, because it's the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast.
That's right.
Nude Clan is not.
Yeah, so I would say it doesn't. It also depends on where we are in our lives, whether or not we'll podcast. But I'll play it, and you can talk to me on Twitter. Or
Exactly.
the Twitter equivalent in 10 years. Because that's how long the fucking game's gonna take to get that.
Oh, this is a fun one here. This one's from Fruff on the forums. He says, the remaining games on the list, that's the title here. When you look at the remaining games on the list to play, what games are you looking forward to playing the most, and why? What games are you dreading to play the most, and why?
I was looking forward to Tactics until, as soon as I'm about to start, Caleb Craig goes, "Oh, let me give you a list of things you need to do," and then other people also give lists of things that, "Oh, make sure you do this, or else you're gonna get fucked." I don't like that. I don't like it when a game has that kind of feel to it, like do this, or else you're fucked.
It's not that you're necessarily fucked, but it's going to make it a lot easier if you do the things that we're telling you to do. Because I played the game not knowing those things before, and
It's like I never beat the final boss in Final Fantasy V or anything. No one can trust me to play a game anymore.
That's different, though. That you didn't finish Parasite Eve. You couldn't beat the final boss in that game.
Oh, I could.
Yeah, but...
If I wanted to put in an extra 30 fucking hours, yeah, I could have beat Parasite Eve straight off of my save, but no, I decided to take someone else's save because it was going to be easier. You're right, but I did beat the game.
Yeah, but...
in another alternative universe.
Where you were that man, and you uploaded the file for yourself.
Fuck y'all. You guys wouldn't have been able to do it from my save. Don't even
I couldn't.
try.
I did jump on, and I was like, I can't beat this, Joe. I'm
fucking
sorry.
impossible.
I died 3 times, and I couldn't beat it. The game I look
Fuck
forward
me
to...
for playing the game. You're right. Okay,
game...
fine. I'm going to take that old file, and for the next, 6 months, I'll give myself, an hour a month
of just
grinding. No, not for the next, 6 years. I'll grind in that goddamn library till I can come out and beat that fucking baby.
Yeah, the fucking giant baby.
God damn it, dude.
You know what? You would get to add it on your hog, then. You don't have to play the game this year. You just have to beat it. So whenever that end date comes, you'll have another game.
So fucking stupid. Fuck you guys.
So
man.
I'm going to burn through the list of games that we have left, minus the Chocobo Dungeon and whatever the fuck else that we said we would put on there, because I didn't put it on the list yet.
Nah, yeah.
We've got Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Advance, Tactics Advance 2, Vagrant Story, Type 0, Ring of Fates, Echoes of Time, Crystal Chronicles, My Life as a King, My Life as a Dark Lord, Crystal Bearers, Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana 3, Legend of Mana, Children of Mana, Dawn of Mana, Air Gaze, Dissidia, Theater Rhythm, Curtain Call. I think that's actually both of them, but Final Fantasy Mystic
Curtain Call
Quest.
Is both?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 4 Heroes of Light, Final Fantasy Explorers, World of Final Fantasy, all the Kingdom Hearts games, Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, Xenogears, Bravely Default, Bravely Second. I personally...
We're deciding whether or not we're going to put on Xeno Saga bullshit.
Yes. I
what
personally...
You're looking forward to the most?
I mean, I'm looking forward to Chrono Trigger because I've heard great things, but I'm not really looking forward to it that much.
I'm looking forward to Chrono Cross because no one talks about it. It was a big hit at the time. Everybody loved it, but, I'm looking forward to Chrono Cross.
I'm also looking forward to
see what the fuck it is.
Finishing Tactics because it's been a blast so far.
Okay.
And honestly, I think I'm looking forward to Crystal Chronicles, and hopefully we're in a position that we can play it co-op because it's kind of a lonely series, to be honest. And when it's not, it's 14, and it's a brutalizing
it's
thing
still
that's
a lonely
above
series.
your head. Yeah, and it's still pretty lonely.
And 11 is lonely. At least you might be able to pull a group together like we were able to.
Yeah.
It's still kind of lonely because it's just
kind of empty, yeah. And
in this huge world.
Well, it is easy to find parties in 11, though. We found so many to grind ambuscade stuff at the end. Like we had a rotating cast of group members that would come in and grind it out with us. So I'm looking forward to those personally. So Chrono Cross for you?
I'm more interested in seeing what that is because I haven't played a second of it. Haven't seen a second of gameplay. I've played about a couple hours worth of Chrono Trigger back in the day. So I kind of get what that is.
Yeah.
From the beginning, at least. Not the intricacies of it. It's 12 endings or whatever. But Chrono Cross, I don't know what it is. I just know it's like a spin-off of Chrono Trigger. And it's supposed to be also really good. but I guess disappointing to Chrono Trigger fans. So, I don't know. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what Xenogears is. That's another kind of game I'm not familiar with. Also, what the difference between a Crystal Chronicle Final Fantasy game is versus a regular Final Fantasy
Yeah,
game.
like, I don't
I don't
know.
know what the hell that's going to be. The game I'm looking forward to the least is Air Gaze.
Yeah.
Because I played just a little bit of it, and it's clunky.
The fighting game? Did
Yeah.
you play the fighting part? Because there's a story mode, too, a dungeon mode.
Yeah, we both kind of just played around with it when you got it and were playing with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The dungeon mode, not fucking around. I'm afraid. That's one I'm not looking forward to because I fear it.
What are we going to decide? Is it arcade and a dungeon mode, or is there a dungeon mode that goes to the end? Do we know?
Yeah, I think it has a story, a campaign. So we have
Shit.
to do that.
Okay.
It's weird, but I think it might end up being something that is pretty fun. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to Vagrant Story, because I've seen some gameplay of that, and it looks very interesting for what it is and for the date. But one thing I'm not looking forward to is, like I said, Air Gaze dungeon mode, because I'm afraid. And I'm also not looking forward to having to... some of the Kingdom Hearts games in there,
Recoded?
Yeah, because the thing is like...
Birth by Sleep.
Those exist, and I can't remember what I found. I was looking at it one day, and I was like, oh, these are just cutscenes, so we just watched the cutscenes. But then I looked further, and I was like, wait.
No.
They're just cutscenes on the disc, but we can find the real game.
There are full games.
And we can and will play them.
They are games.
It's sick. Some of them are like you can get on the PS4 and you get trophies for watching the cutscenes. So what I'll probably end up doing is beat the game and then just watch the cutscenes to like get the story recap, which is weird but fine. There were so many on here that I thought for a second,
God, dude, no,
I didn't have to play.
Honestly, I'm really excited to play Kingdom Hearts again. It's been so many years, and it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun gameplay, interesting story. Although it has fucking terrible pop songs in them. From an artist, a Japanese singer that I actually like, Haruki. Shit. I can't remember her name. Utada is one of her names. She is actually really good. That fucking Sanctuary song makes me want to fucking blow my brains out. Have you heard that thing?
No.
The Sanctuary. And then someone's gonna fucking tweet me and be like, it's the greatest song ever!
Yeah, and then you're gonna resent
Dylan! Oh, Dylan liked that song. That was right. He was a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. We were in high school. And he tried to play me this song, and I'm like, this is not good. This is not Eyes on Me bad, but it's bad.
Okay.
bad.
Sounds like Dave is gonna have
And
to work it into his rotation.
I actually like the singer, and I like her other music.
Okay.
There's not very much Japanese music that I like. She is one of the few. And that song is awful. I guess without that song, I wouldn't have found her, because I was like, okay, let's look into this lady.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oof. Hey, Joe, it's the greatest song ever, says Amazuki. No, it's not. It's a really bad song.
Yeah, one other one.
Greatest song ever is Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Or One by Metallica.
It's One.
Any gigantic 8-minute song that starts slow and ends fast is my favorite song.
I actually like When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin more than Stairway to Heaven, yeah.
I don't think so. I love Led Zeppelin, though. So. I got Mothership on my Google Play.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's good shit. Good compilation.
Good shit.
I am not looking forward to Type 0 either. It was one that I was like kind of, feeling the buzz and feeling the desire to play when it first came out. But
That's going to be a long one.
Hearing that what they did with the camera angles and like it's a PSP port, it kind of looks like shit. I don't know, man. The controls, I'm not sure how it's going to play. And I'm a little worried about that one too. I don't know about obviously I don't know about the game because I haven't touched it. I just paid $150 for it at the time, but that's one I'm probably not looking forward to. And the others are just like they're neutral because I'm ignorant of them in every conceivable way.
Yeah.
So
Jake says Bohemian Rhapsody is the greatest song of all time. That's a really good song. I will agree that is a really good song. I would also add Hey Jude by the Beatles to the list.
Well, Bohemian Rhapsody is on the Blue Queen CD, which is the inferior between the red and
the greatest,
blue.
the only albums they have, which are the greatest hits CDs.
Yes, the greatest hits red and the greatest hits
Greatest
blue.
hits red is in every single person's car.
Yes.
In the world.
Yeah, that is one thing you will know for sure.
Greatest
if you
hits
steal a car.
blue, no one has.
Exactly. Take that as you will. Take that as you
will. You are
will.
right. The disappointment in that song not being on the greatest hits CD that I bought from Queen, I was like, what the shit?
I do like some of their other songs more.
Oh, fucking love that greatest hits.
Yeah.
Red album.
Yeah.
Love it.
The blue one's only okay, too. It's the sad part, but it's got the one song, the most famous song of all time. So, we got a lot of games. Hopefully more of them will be awesome than what we're anticipating. But we also, last week, asked a great question from us to you, and I think we owe it to you guys to answer it. So, in a recent desire to take us on this lifelong journey of video games that
recent desire to kill ourselves.
Yeah, to keep us
instead of finishing the show.
To keep us trapped here for all eternity, we asked you guys, should the Xenosaga games count as sequels to Xenogears? Yes or no? Also, why? Irat, the first to answer yes, and the reason is Xenogears is Chapter 5. They were going to make more than 3 games, but Monolith decided to not and to finish it at 3. That is all I know. I just hope we get a PS4 remaster of them like we did with the Dot Hack. Oh, he said Monolith decided no and to finish at 3. They decided to finish the series at 3 games is what he meant.
Oh, okay.
Shinru says yes and no. There is an argument to be had.
Thanks, Shinru.
Yeah, thank
I
you for
appreciate your vote.
Decisive
All right,
response.
you canceled yourself out.
Yeah.
We got 1 yes and
then a nothing.
1 nothing.
There is an argument to be had that Xenogears is a standalone game since the team that made it at Square and Square's involvement are not with Xenosaga. That was made by only some people from the original team and wasn't published by Square because they own the Gears copyright and Bandai Namco own the Saga copyright. And Nintendo owns the Blade for Xenoblade copyright. But yes, Xenosaga are sequels/prequels to Xenogears and have the same turn-based combat which the Xenoblade series does not have, so they are directly connected. Good PS2 JRPGs, probably my faves along with a few others. So he wants us to,
vote.
but knows we shouldn't, I think is what that means.
All right. Still a nothing.
Seventh Circle says, LOL, long cutscenes ahead. Sure, why not? They are fun, thematically similar, and made by some of the same people. If Chrono Cross counts as a sequel to Trigger, Xenosaga counts as a part of Xenogears. Just a different company. Abrak says, I'd say no. Square owns the rights to the Xenogears IP and was not involved in the Xenosaga or Xenoblade games. Different games made by a different studio with a different publisher. I don't think the common themes or battle systems are enough to say they're sequels. I'd say spiritual sequel at best.
Okay.
Reathmus comes in and says, yes, I would say the Xenosaga games are based in the same universe as Xenogears and are sequels in every way other than the fact that Square owns Xenogears and not Xenosaga. The Xenoblade series are not sequels in any way. However, Xenosaga shouldn't be played for the show, as they have nothing to do with Final Fantasy. To be honest...
Wait, he said yes at the beginning.
He said yes, they're the same
series.
series.
Shit out of me.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
They should not be played for the show because they have nothing to do with Final Fantasy. To be honest, the link between FF series and Xenogears is tenuous as it is, and going to Xenosaga is just too much. While it's my favorite RPG of all time, I don't even think Xenogears should be played as an FF game. Good games for a nude clan, though. Forced entry, anyone. Also,
Alright.
chronologically, the Xenosaga games are actually prequels to Xenogears, apparently.
Huh.
Black Mage Justin, of course, yes, his answer, his reason is he loves the show, and the longer it goes on, the better.
Black Mage, may I introduce you to our Patreon page?
Yeah. Felicia Nomiko says, no, we should stick to actual FF games with the name Final Fantasy in them, or direct spin-offs. To me, Kingdom Hearts is a bit of a stretch, but I'll accept it because there are so many FF characters in those games. Glad you'll accept it. However, if one wants to play Xenosaga to extend the show until FF16 comes out, and or to compare and contrast another JRPG with FF, then I think that's a reasonable reason to do so. But we already have Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, and Bravely Default on the list to compare/contrast, so Xenosaga really isn't needed. Either choice you make is fine by me, but don't burn yourselves out doing this either.
Oh, okay. Matunica has a long and thoughtful response to the
Yes.
question.
Just finished reading the wiki, and it's an interesting topic. Given the games are tagged with the Xeno to show it's Tetsuya Takahishi's game, very much in the same way that Final Fantasy is the Gucci's baby. Final
Or
Fantasy games...
And story somewhere.
Yeah.
That's his deal.
Yeah, Final Fantasy games are not connected, ignore the stupid 710 thing, and Gilgamesh fan theories, but are only connected by common themes and repeated characters/monsters. Xeno seems to have the same type of connection between the games, so in my mind it would be a yes given the nature of the podcast. Also, as Seventh Circle points out, it fits with your decision to play Chrono Cross. However, to play devil's advocate, given it's a Final Fantasy podcast at its heart, I would argue against playing the Almost Was games. Chrono Trigger was not an FF game, and Square decided it was not good enough to give it the flagship Final Fantasy title. The fact that it's an amazing game is besides the point, as it's simply not a Final Fantasy game. The Chocobo games, however, are clearly based on FF material, so should be on the list, as it fits with the same logic you're using to put Kingdom Hearts series, as it is heavily pulls from the FF IP. But as a fan of FF, UFF, Nude, and Rest in Peace Super Sexy Swingin' Fanfiction, I want you to play all these games, and to me, it comes down to your decision. If you decide you're going to play the Almost Was FF games, like Chrono, then you would have to play the whole Xeno series, as the games have the same connections between the games as the FF ones do. In short, gotta play them all to be the best mother-uffers. Yes, play all the Xeno games.
Okay. You ready for the result?
Sure.
There were 3 no's and 4 yeses. And 1 nothing.
Okay, so
Okay.
we get our votes as well as the... Do we play the Xeno games?
Let's lean back and make sure the mic can't pick us up
Yeah.
at all.
Pop my back a bit.
Okay.
Chill.
Yeah, get in the worst position for the camera that I can.
Yeah.
Do my Caleb Craig impersonation.
There you go. Gotta spread the legs a little more.
I can't do that and push my stomach up. Okay, on the count of 3, you're gonna say yes or no. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Yes,
So we're playing them.
we're playing them.
God. Alright, it's fine. It's fine. I just know there are...
There's only like 2 of them, right? Or 2 or 3? Xenosaga.
At least. I don't know the actual count. I just don't.
Well, there's a whole Wikipedia page on all of them, so that's how I count it. Wikipedia knows.
Honestly, yeah.
And it includes Xenogears in it.
It's not that big of a... It's not that crazy. I mean, if we're doing the same thing for the Mana series, I almost can't justify not playing these. If we are playing Secret of Mana, Legend of Mana, blah blah, Dawn of Mana, because the first one was a Final Fantasy game,
That means they're sequels to a Final Fantasy game. That's the logic there.
I guess that's a little more solid.
With Xenogears, it was
It was pitched as an idea for
an
7.
idea for Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Or
6 or 7, one of them.
Chrono Trigger, similar. They started production as a Final Fantasy
Yeah,
game.
it was pitched for 6, I think,
So,
around that time.
I don't agree with our last commenter on that bit, because it is it was a Final Fantasy that never was. That's that section.
Yeah.
So it started as Final Fantasy games and then didn't end as Final Fantasy games. It ended as something else.
And I would argue that Kingdom Hearts has more of a claim to the Final Fantasy name because it borrows so much from the Final Fantasy universe.
And we are adding the like 2 Chocobo games that have actually made it to the English language.
Yeah, because those have Final
we are
Fantasy
doing
characters. That's not right to put in Kingdom Hearts and not those. It just isn't.
So,
even though they're looser, because Chocobo is a fucking bird that was an ad for a candy that they ripped off.
So we may as well, I guess, add it, and it's not going to hurt to play some RPGs that are supposed to be very good.
Yeah, it's not. And honestly, when else
near
are we...
the end. So
honestly, when else are we going to play them?
there's only 3 of them.
Okay.
It's episode 1, 2, and 3. That's what
Then
they
fine,
are.
yeah.
We'll do them right after Xenogears.
I hope we can get a hold of them. Is the thing.
They are PlayStation 2 games. So, and I've seen them in used game stores before. I don't feel like they're like super rare yet. Well, at least they weren't when I was looking to PlayStation 2 stuff. So, anyway.
Yeah, alright, we'll do it.
It'll be a long time.
Yeah, so there's 16 will probably be out by then. So
God damn it.
you guys won't have to worry about that.
Adding more and more games. Don't worry. We'll just keep playing. We've added, 5-6 games in the last 2 weeks. So, at this rate, show's never going to end.
There you go. You got what you wanted. Not that we wanted to, necessarily. It's just...
You got what you wanted. Now go!
Yeah. 2 games at once is quite the feat. I just want you guys to realize that. And to consider that when nominating and voting for games for New Plan. Metal Gear Solid 1, that is fine. That is a 7-hour game. We can do that. And it's a great game. Wonderful game. So
wonderful game. Fantastic game.
Keep that in mind. And thank you for all of the feedback on the Xenosaga debacle. It's awesome to hear from you guys, and some of the logic was pretty sound. Obviously sound enough to sway Joe. I just said no, because I don't want to search for him.
I did not know about this connection. I was told very early on that Xenosaga had nothing to do with Xenogears from someone. It's been too long for me to remember at this point.
Yeah.
And so I just never looked into it, never realized that they were tenuously connected. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's alright. It'll be near the end. Won't even affect us for a long time.
Yeah. My question from us to you this week is, well, you know what? What other games would you like us to add to the list?
That's not even funny. That is not even funny. Don't fucking... They're gonna say it anyway, no matter what. Even if you ask it today.
Okay.
I was gonna be like, do you feel like Avalanche was in the right? Did they do the right thing?
Yeah. Oh, we can do that.
Is Avalanche evil or good?
Should they be treated as a terrorist group or not? Because they were technically urban terrorists in this in the game. I mean,
I don't know. You can ask that one if you want. But did we get? I'm not gonna ask what I was about to say.
All right. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about Avalanche's involvement with the bombings in.
And also
let us, and
I guess let us know of any other tenuous Final Fantasy series connections.
Other than the ones that we've mentioned, because I know we need to update the list. We just haven't yet. The Chocobo games will be added. They just have not.
Sure. At
this time. So, yeah, shit. I think that's it for this week. You got anything else you want to add?
No, man. I'm done. I gotta sleep.
You gotta get Tactics in.
Fucking tired. No, tomorrow's gonna be Nier.
Oh, that's right. You have to do Nier. Tactics is kind of nice because it's handheld, and you're not streaming it, so you can just kind of play it whenever.
That's true.
To me, that's like a more comforting thing, just to know that
that I can be on the couch.
Yeah, you can be on the couch
instead of in my bedroom.
You could be on the shitter, even. You could be anywhere you want and play Final Fantasy Tactics.
Could I be underwater?
Okay, maybe not underwater.
Then I'm disappointed. I don't like this.
I hate to regulate you and tell you what to do, but I would not put the PlayStation Portable anywhere near water.
What about in the Arctic?
Probably no, but I don't know the threshold for electronics. That is something I'm not privy to.
Space?
I would answer the same. Not privy to the temperatures and the ability to survive such temperatures.
What about in a vagina?
I think you could probably play it.
Okay.
I wouldn't, but
You like that disgusting video you showed me where the guy pokes his head in?
Yes, it would be like
Okay.
that. And then you could just put it in there and then go in there.
It'll light up the tunnel.
Yeah, it's a little cave. Yeah, it's your gaming cave.
It's for. Hey, can I get in my man cave right now? Do you mind?
Yeah. God. Fucking. Oh man.
Disgusting.
We
What
gotta
about in a vanilla extract factory?
That I know you could play in. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
You got to fend off the Knicks of the world, but you could play there. We better end it before we
Get
get
out
too
of here.
crazy. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure to answer the question on the site and enjoy the Final Fantasy Tactics job grind.